Sri Lanka's economy is in deep trouble, and there is a lot of aid diplomacy happening. Colombo keeps asking India for aid. India extends help to avert another spell of growing Chinese influence in Colombo, and the cycle keeps repeating itself. So, how will the cycle end? Well, we have a suggestion. Hi, and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Apurva, and in this video, we will talk about how Sri Lanka can come out of its economic crisis with a simple solution. So, let's begin. Even as Sri Lanka fights a huge debt crisis to somehow save its economy, four things are becoming clear. Sri Lanka needs help. Sri Lanka wants India to help it. India wants to help Sri Lanka so China doesn't end up helping it. Sri Lanka doesn't want Chinese help. So we have a simple suggestion. Sri Lanka should simply tell us how much money it needs before it will kick out China. India started engaging and aiding Sri Lanka as soon as it became clear that things were slipping out of Colombo's hands. On March 17th, India and Sri Lanka signed a line of credit worth $1 billion. This would enable Colombo in procuring food, medicines and other essential items to overcome its economic troubles. It became clear that Sri Lanka would be receiving Indian aid to tide over its ongoing crisis. But you have to understand what may be going on in Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's mind. He knows that his entire political reputation is at stake and he must save his country at any cost. Therefore, he perhaps wanted to assure that Indian aid keeps coming. This is why Sri Lanka played the China card. So, days after the Colombo received a $1 billion line of credit from New Delhi, it requested a new loan and buyer's credit from China worth $2.5 billion. If India could give a soft loan of $1 billion to Colombo, it wasn't much of a task for New Delhi to lend a few more billions on easy terms to the island nation. So Sri Lanka didn't need Chinese help. Its request to Beijing was therefore more of a disclaimer. If New Delhi doesn't continue extending monetary aid, Sri Lanka could go and sit in Beijing's lap. Gotabaya knows that Prime Minister Narendra Modi wants China kicked out of Sri Lanka. Therefore, playing the China card is natural temptation for Colombo. As expected, Sri Lanka is again in negotiations for another aid package with India. On Monday, Sri Lanka's central bank governor disclosed that the island nation had sought another credit line of $1.5 billion from India. The new credit line is in addition to the $1 billion worth of assistance that New Delhi has already arranged for Colombo. Ajit Nivart Kabral, the governor of Central Bank of Sri Lanka, said, "There is a very close discussion continuing for an additional support of $1.5 billion with India by way of oil support as well as other essential goods support of credit terms." India is now likely to accept Sri Lanka's request. Given the historical and cultural linkages with its southern neighbor, India has committed itself to help the people of Sri Lanka find a way out of their severe economic crisis. What Sri Lankan leaders need to understand is that they can be forthcoming with New Delhi. Instead of seeking aid in tranches and playing the China card, they can simply kick China out of the country and tell India exactly about the kind of quantum of aid that they need. The aid diplomacy should therefore be replaced by reasonable coordination.